Okay, on this one, I'm going to be discussing intellectual enlightenment and true enlightenment or true light. And then I'm going to be going into shadow work from there. And I'll start out with the phrase that we've seen in the Bible. God saw that there was light and it was good. And from what I've learned, what I experienced, that there, like a lot of teachings, a lot of information, it's multi-layered, and depending on your consciousness level or your awareness, your open-mindedness, that you'll see that there is more information. Like on this one, God saw that there was light and it was good. It wasn't only something physical like the sunlight or the sun, that it actually meant the light that's within, that was good. And with that, I was learning, I was always a good person. Like 99.9% of the things, I was always a good person. I was always helpful. But then I realized when I had gotten sick and I had to sit with myself for a couple of years, like I was really angry. I was upset, judgmental, hating the world, hating everybody who hurt me, hated my parents. And then there was a point, like when I went within, doing the inner work and seeing me, really seeing me, and not focusing on everything else, that something switched on inside me. And then I realized I had intellectual enlightenment, that I didn't have the actual light, and it switched on. And with that switching on, it became, it things I did, like the positivity and the balance with what we call enlightenment, it wasn't a choice anymore. It just became a whole lifestyle. I didn't even have to try. And it was crazy. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't blaming anybody anymore. I could forgive for everything. Actually, like without the blame, there's nothing to forgive. And then it was like, I couldn't lie. Like, it's really hard for me to lie. Like, that's why I can't do Among Us. I can't. Even that game, like, really good. I can't do it. And then watching other people, I kind of get unhinged inside. I can't do it. And like all the negative, unhealthy habits that where I would hurt myself or hurt others, they were like gone. And that is my mom, which a lovely person. And then at that point, all I saw was me, and I came out of that survival mode or survival of the fittest. Like, it was so freeing. And then it was like almost with this true light, the switching on, it's almost like you get an extra code or a keylogger where you can see more information in things you read, things you watch, people's behavior. And so that's why for me, like, there's a difference between intellectual enlightenment and the true light, because then you come out of that part of you where, like, you can be a good person but you still have behaviors, like negative behaviors, that you justify it, like that disappears, and then you start seeing it in other people. And I'm not judging, but it's like a different level that you're not aware until you get there, and it's amazing. And then it just changed your perspective. And then that flows into like a lot of philosophies and spirituality teachings, religion. I noticed like a lot of the teachings, it's only a partial teaching, like something's missing. I don't know if like it's done on purpose, like you need that code or that keylogger to get the full interpretation of things that are taught. And then if it's a partial teaching, then of course everybody's going to fail. It's not going to work, and it's going to cause unhealthy behaviors and people justifying it. Just like the statement of accept me as I am. Okay, that's cool. Accept you as I am, but do you even know who you are? Do you truly know who you are? So like, when you truly know who you are, done the inner work, shadow work, totally accept your true self, not your program self that you've received by society, people, culture, that you know why you feel, respond, do what you do. Not the surface reason, but the deep down aspects of you that were actually just those aspects that do shatter, split apart from you, and those are all childhood traumas. Those aspects of you were hurt and then like shunned to the side. So you can have, on average, most people have more than 100 aspects, and these aspects clash with each other and cause chaos within your life. It's almost having, when these aspects, when you've been hurt so bad and these aspects have been separated so far, you can see it as a split personality. That's like a severe version of it. And these aspects, they're split in two. There's duality. Like you might have one aspect that's like, oh, I want to be single, and then because you've been hurt and you don't trust people, but then you have the other aspects like, I don't want to be single, because you want love. So those two aspects within you sit there and cause chaos. And actually they have different personalities, different preferences. So it makes you make crazy ass decisions within yourself and you don't realize. And then later on, I'll show you how to recognize these aspects by using me as an example, which my guides want me to do, which you'll learn a lot about me, which it'll be weird. And then you'll realize that it's easy actually to see your own aspects and catch it and then like incorporate it, bring them in. So let me see. Then initially the thought would be, okay, say your spouse or sibling or roommate or whatever, that initially thought that they don't clean up and you're upset. And your initial thought is that they're lazy, but when you do the shadow work, you go deep down and then you dig deeper, because it isn't that initial reason like you think that they're lazy. But then you find out when you go deeper and deeper and deeper, sitting with the feeling, then you'll realize that in actuality, the reason why you get triggered and you feel the way you feel is because it was a trauma that happened as a child. Someone, in reference to feeling unloved, unworthy, for someone to even consider you to clean up. So deep down, the actual reason, the core reason, is because you feel unworthy for someone to even care. Or like another example, true intentions of why you do things, like why you volunteer or certain activities, like you give to others. On the surface, it might look like you just care for others, but in actuality, it is from an emotional child injury where, again, you feel not good enough or unworthy for love or unlovable. So you do things to feel worthy, to try to get attention, to be likable, to be lovable, worth other people's time. So then it is actually a form of manipulation of others to receive the love that you didn't receive as a child. So you got to look deep down, way deep down within yourself for your behaviors. And these traumas can actually be expressed over and over again in certain events in your life, like a repeating pattern. So then the shadow work brings your aspects back to you, working with you instead of against you, self-sabotaging. By loving you, saving those parts of you, those aspects, when you go deep down inside, saving that child, like a parent, in the ways that you didn't receive at the time the injury happened. You become your own hero by being basically a time traveler. The things that trigger, you can find out what you need to work on by seeing like the things that trigger you, catch your focus, the people who keep manifesting in your life like a broken record, let you know what areas of shadow work you need to focus on within yourself. So then you realize it actually doesn't have anything to do with your outside. It actually has everything to do with you. It's something you need to address, change, and until you do, it keeps on repeating. It all leads to all the child aspects of you that were injured, that were frozen basically in time, and on that event, part of you that was abused, neglected, shamed, to feel not good enough, unworthy, to be in the shadows. So just be a time traveler, set things straight with yourself, provide clarity, or just love that part. Let it know it is safe, that the adult you will never neglect, abandon, abuse, and will always provide everything it didn't receive before. Don't blame you or anyone else. Just be the thing you needed before. You are your own hero. Then you don't have to look for this in things or people outside of yourself to give you the things you need. You are your own balance. So it's simple but complicated.